It's me, Harrold. Here we are in the alchemy lab. We're talking about some goody stuff. Whatever the hell that is. What is that, a new candy bar? Goody stuff. Filled with stuff. Delicious, delicious stuff. Will you eat the stuff? Everyone loves the stuff. Don't you love the stuff? I love the stuff. Don't you? Yummies. It's so delicious. I love eating the stuffs. We are seeing it reported that Funko Pop has lost a lot of money recently, and I am not particularly surprised by this. I have been waiting for this company to hit that bubble that all of these collector markets seem to hit eventually. They've just saturated the market so much, and I don't see how they're being profitable. I even have a bunch of Funko Pops, and I try to be very picky and choosy of what I get. And most of the time, even then, it's secondhand. I see a lot of people spend a lot of money on these Funko Pops, and they're just these little plastic dolls. I'm not so sure that there is a long-term market here. A lot of people liken it to the Beanie Baby craze, which, are still around. But in the quantities that you see in Funko, I do not think so. Every single store you go into, whether it be secondhand or a flea market or a regular retail store, just Funko Pops flooded everywhere. It's absolutely ridiculous. You do not see these kind of quantities with Beanie Babies or any other of the collector markets. Maybe comic books. Comic books for sure. But we're talking about paper. This is plastic vinyl with a licensed product. There's not much going on here besides their little heads. And it created a huge market for other companies to create such similar figures. But over time, I do not see that company lasting much longer. Not in the way that they want to, at least, where they're making millions and millions of dollars hands over fist. That's why this story is important, because this is the first time that they're experiencing really big hits. Some say it could be the rest of the economy, which could be a possibility, but this is a story that I keep track of. So keep your ear to the ground for all those Funko Pop updates. I'm curious on what happens to this company over the next few years. We are always keeping track of the DC Universe, and big news came out. Looks like Superman is getting a sequel called Man of Tomorrow, and it's going to be in 2027. That's crazy fast. Do you know how fast? That's going to be when the Batman Part 2 comes out as well. That year's going to be crazy. So are they going to combo those two movies together? Are they going to cameo in each other's films? That could be a possibility. We will see. But hearing this big announcement from the DC studios about Man of Tomorrow and them jumping straight in production with a story is super exciting. Next year we're getting Supergirl, and then after that we're getting Man of Tomorrow. Superman, Supergirl, Superman, bang, 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 one right after another. And Superman being in the same year, that's crazy. A Batman-Superman combo in the same year is going to be a big deal. I'm very interested to see if these two universes will connect eventually. Part of the studio keeps being fuzzy on whether or not they're going to have the Robert Pattinson Batman meet the David Cornsween Superman, or are they in two different universes entirely? That's the big question. But now they're in the same year together. That's crazy big news. It was also announced with this image of Lex Luthor in his famous power armor, which I'm super excited to see. Him going toe-to-toe with Superman. This also tells me the plot will also heavily involve Lex, but I do think they're going to add Brainiac. Supergirl's going to be back on Earth after what happens in her film, and then the two of them are probably going to end up fighting Brainiac, or at least Superman will probably try to help save Brainiac. There was a comic book by Jeff Johns where Brainiac came to Earth and Superman wanted to protect him and Supergirl wanted to kill him. And so they were kind of at heads with one another. So I think that's where this film might be heading towards. Super excited to see what might happen. Man of Tomorrow. Great title for the next Superman movie. Leave a comment if you think that they're going to combo the universe together or not. I do think the Batman-Superman movies are going to combo together, and that way Batman will become the official Batman. That's my guess right now. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm like 75, 70 maybe. We'll see as we get closer. We'll see how those odds change. But until then, color me hype. All right, you ready? Now it's time for Harrold's F1 Corner. Speed is the name of the game and the greatest motorsport on the planet. It's the 2025 season, and we are at the infamous track Monza, the home of Ferrari, the palace of speed. You'll see the track here also has an old oval layout. layout. And they don't use that anymore. They use the new layout naturally because the old oval layout was just way too dangerous. If you look it up, you'll actually be able to see how steep it is. We'll actually show it right here. This is how steep the Monza oval was, and it was extremely dangerous. I would recommend the film Grand Prix if you want to see like an up-close personal experience of what it was like to race on the old Monza circuit. Now that we're halfway through the season, the championship is ramping up. It's really between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Verstappen is about 100 points behind, so there's not much he can do. But between the two McLaren drivers, this is going to be a very tight championship. So keep yourself glued to the rest of this season, because it's gonna get spicy. Spicy, 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 spicy. During qualifying, it looked like Max Verstappen got pole, but the McLarens are hot on each other's heels. With no threat of storms, the race got underway. The first turn was chaos. Monza is infamous for that turn 1. It's a chicane going directly into turn 2 and then another long straight with a little bit of a curve. So you want to get the best exit you can. But that also means dive bombing into that first turn as fast as you can, and when you got 20 cars around you, there's gonna be lots of mayhem. And mayhem there was. Verstappen and Piastri were fighting for the lead, Leclerc and Norris fighting for third, and the race seemed a little bit by the numbers until you got a little further along, and everyone has to make at least one pit stop with 2 different types of tires throughout the race. So if you want to start in hards, you can't use them again. You gotta use mediums or something else. You have to use mediums or softs. And McLaren decided to stay out for most of the race and wait until the very last second to switch to softs and then try to catch up. They were hoping for a safety car, and that means somebody has to crash. And this is Monza. That is very high hopes. That is not going to happen here at Monza. There was a spin. 2 cars did come into each other and spin a little bit, but that was not enough to bring out the safety car, which McLaren bet their entire strategy on. This is very poor planning and I'm always disappointed when teams do this. Then, a very poor pit stop from Norris caused the 2 teammates to be swapped around in the order. And so they swapped them back and gave up positions to themselves and to the other racers. Sure, they still got second and third with Max Verstappen winning. This strategy on their behalf was very perplexing, especially with the championship so close. Piastri just needs a few more extra points to start pulling away from Norris. Monza is also the home of Ferrari. This is the Italian homeland, and Ferrari was nowhere to be seen. Leclerc really did try to get into a podium position, and for a moment there, I did think he had it. But this whole season has seen Hamilton just lag behind more and more and more. He has no confidence in that car. He's ready to retire. But here we are. He's got 1 more year on his contract, and then we'll see him go, and maybe Sainz will come back. That's the best thing we can hope for, because I don't see Hamilton making a winning car out of this. Leclerc is really trying. But Hamilton, no, I don't see it happening. Once he goes, it'll be good riddance. Because all he does is sit in the car and complain about his team, or complain about himself, and just whine and cries. And so with this race over, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be going to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Really narrow street course with one of the longest straights on the F1 calendar. But that straight is comboed with one of the narrowest castle sections. You literally are driving through a medieval castle. Super cool, and has caught up a lot of drivers in the past. That little chicane there, oh my goodness, it's so tight. It'll be a lot of fun to watch a new street course when we've been on a lot of regular courses there recently. It'll be nice to be on a really tight street course for a little while. And maybe some more manholes will just pop out and destroy some cars. Just kidding. See you in a couple of weeks, F1 gearheads. And that's the weekly update, creatures. Thank you for watching, and please leave a comment about anything you would like us to talk about. We'll definitely take a look. Also, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when every new Harrold video goes up. We're also here on Instagram and on TikTok, so make sure you subscribe there too for all of our meme fun. And remember, creatures, to stay frosty. Wah!